Hello, everyone. This is Talk for Glory, episode 259. We're a lot of hours removed off of a bunch of wrestling. This is a random Saturday upload, but this was actually supposed to come out last week because we are actually 1 week removed off of arguably the GOAT retiring. None other than John Cena. For the last time we could see him last week. So, thanks to Young Smoove. This video was his idea, but he couldn't be here. So, in today's Talk for Glory episode 259, we look back at the best of John Cena's career. And the requirements for this are simple. It's just 5 of my favorite matches from John Cena, 5 of Smoove's favorite matches from John Cena. So, to start us off, Summer 2008, John Cena versus Batista. The franchise versus the animal. Before facing each other at SummerSlam, these guys were actually former tag team champions. Only held the titles for about a week or so. And you could have had 2 main eventers going against each other and someone had to lose. This was such a 50-50 match. I loved every minute of it as a kid because I am such a huge SmackDown guy. So even though Batista was on Raw, to me, it was the definition of SmackDown versus Raw. And although the score is like 5 or 6-2, all that really matters is the first victory, and where the first victory happened, here at SummerSlam 2008. Also, now realizing how far back might be showing my and Young Smoove's age by bringing up matches from 2008. Might go even further down below. Yeah, this match was epic. To me, it confirmed for all the kids, like, hey, who would win in a match between Batista and John Cena? We finally got our answer, and it was Batista. Personally, I thought that we would have gotten John Cena versus Batista at WrestleMania. I thought that would be the first ever one-on-one encounter between the two. But, hey, they're both on Monday Night Raw. Well, they were both on Monday Night Raw at the time. So it was only a matter of time before their paths crossed. Well, we're not leaving Monday Night Raw yet, because next match is Monday Night Raw 2007, John Cena versus Shawn Michaels. It's one with the most iconic finish. The one wanted that to be the WrestleMania match. Arguably, it is the best. Yeah, it might be the best Raw main event I've ever seen. Shawn and John Cena, I don't feel like they missed. I don't think they ever missed. Not as tag partners, not as opponents. I think if you ask me to put 2 wrestlers in their prime forever, and they have to wrestle forever, I would put John Cena and Shawn Michaels in their prime, and they have to wrestle forever. Because not a dull time was it whenever these two fought, whether it's a one-on-one, whether it was a tag match, or maybe it was even a triple threat. I still think that triple threat between Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and John Cena at Survivor Series 2000, I believe it was 2009 or 2010. I still think that's an underrated triple threat match. And little spoiler, guys, for the matches here. All of these are going to be singles matches, but honorable mentions, another one of John's best matches is DX at Survivor Series. But there's not much I could say. I know that overtime, and as a kid, I didn't care. I didn't care about overtime. I cared about, is Shawn going to be able to hit Sweet Chin Music? Is John Cena going to be able to hit a FU? I cared about all of that stuff. I didn't want to see Shawn Michaels tap out again, as to me, he is like the, so to put, is the greatest WWE performer ever. So, if you guys are Shawn Michaels guy, I'm a Shawn Michaels guy through and through. Next is John Cena versus Rusev at WrestleMania 31. I know for some of you guys, maybe you guys match was but to me, Rusev coming out in a tank was fucking fire. And then Cena being America's last hero. And then on top of that, Rusev being this dominant United States champion, where he had to come, we had to get John Cena, the main eventer. He had to step down into the mid-carder to see, we had the main eventer to step down into the mid-card. What was all the ruckus about? And then when he's Bulgarian Brute, and he realized that this guy is either going to be a double champ with the U.S. title, or I got to take the him. And John Cena versus Rusev is an incredible feud. Really on off that, never give up. But then let's talk about this. Without the John Cena versus Rusev feud / John Cena title win, we don't get the historic John Cena United States Open Challenge. Honestly, might have rejuvenated his career. John Cena was already great, but for the middle part of the 2010s, a lot of people counted Cena, and just a lot of people are talking about what? Sec? Okay, back to what I was saying. The U.S. Open Challenge rejuvenated like a side of Cena that a lot of people missed, and it was the in-ring side where most people just talk about John Cena going, oh, he just buries people, or John Cena matches are way too predictable. And although, yes, to a certain level, you could look at a match like John versus Dean Ambrose, John versus Stardust, John versus Cesaro. You would think, okay, yeah, he's definitely not going to lose to those guys. But then, thanks to the United States Open Challenge, we got the debuting of not Kill Steen Kill, but Fight Owens Fight. The prize fighter, Kevin Owens, current at the time, current NXT champion. And there's so many things that come out of the US Open Challenge, but it all starts from when John Cena beat Rusev WrestleMania 31. So that's why that's one of my matches, Smoove's match, and that's why I get to mention here on the look back of John Cena's career. Next, we are looking at Extreme Rules 2012, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. This match was awesome. I know what a lot of people are thinking. Oh, John Cena got his ass whooped, and John Cena didn't really do much. Lesnar did all the beating. Yeah, that was kind of the point. This was the beginning of John Cena's downward spiral of a career in 2012. And I don't think you have a worse experience than having to go through Brock Lesnar, fresh after a humiliating defeat to The Rock, after swearing up and down that you were going to beat him. I think when it comes to that match at Extreme Rules, John Cena needed Brock Lesnar. Yeah, John Cena needed Brock Lesnar to open the gates of this wake-up call, of this redemption arc for Cena. So I know a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, but the match at SummerSlam was better. To me, it wasn't. It was just spamming suplexes. If anything, I'll call it the day Super Cena died. But 2012, John Cena versus Brock was that got his ass kicked the worst. Again, it is the beginning of the monumental snowball effect. Travels 2012 to 2013. Okay, that was a lag out. But yeah, that match was spectacular just because, again, what it does for Cena in the long run. But now, looking further into the past of John Cena, we look at the Royal Rumble 2007. John Cena versus Umaga. This is a match at Smoove. I remember this match. Although Umaga was like this Samoan nightmare. Yeah, like he was like this Samoan nightmare that I remember two things for. It's winning Umaga and it's the Samoan spike that Umaga did. But this feud, one thing that sticks out was Umaga was undefeated. Umaga was an undefeated demon. And there are a lot of people, and again, there are a lot of people that lose their undefeated streaks, get their undefeated streaks broken. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with losses. I just have one rule. Yeah, I just have one rule when it comes to undefeated streaks. I never want an undefeated streak to end via roll up. I don't know. For me, it's just such an anticlimactic. Damn, what's the word? Yeah, anticlimactic feeling because it's like you built up this dominance and to get rolled up is just horrendous work. But that's why in the Royal Rumble I was okay with the last man standing match because it really did signify like, hey, I beat Umaga via dumb luck at it was New Year's Revolution. I via this last man standing match to start the year where if I will not guarantee my ticket to the road to WrestleMania, to me it's perfect. Cena got beat up. Cena fought for his life. Took everything Cena had and more, and that's exactly what it took to beat him. If I remember correctly, he hit him with an STF with the rope. I don't know. Like at the moment, I'm trying to remember whether it was with STF with a rope or STF with a chain. But that was one of the cooler times that I thought John Cena was like this ultimate badass when he locks in and he's choking the life out of Umaga, really signifying like I need to do any and everything to keep you down. But now we are Okay. Now let's talk about arguably John Cena's greatest rival. I know it's a toss-up between him and Randy Orton, but John Cena versus Edge, Unforgiven 2006. This was around the time where like I was just getting into WWE. So I got into WWE 2000, like late 2004 to 2005. So the following year, when I got to see John Cena versus Edge live, because I remember that was like one of the few pay-per-views my mom bought, I thought, wow, this is brutal. This is hell. And then I remember that Edge is a part of the reason why I love ladder matches, why I love TLC matches. But I also thought to myself, okay, so this is Edge's match. This is his thing. So obviously Cena has no chance. But that AA through two tables off the top of a ladder just gets me every time. I think it's one of those things where whenever I play WWE 2K, it's one of the things I try to replicate all the time. Where if I see two tables set up and I've got like the AA as a finisher on top of the ladder, I do try to replicate that. But it was after that match that really, I don't know. I think for me, John Cena's Super Cena run didn't start until his feud probably with Edge, yeah. And I think Edge and Cena had great chemistry, not only with just each other, but like with the fans. Edge versus John Cena is genuinely, well, 2005, 2006. 2005, 2006, John Cena versus Edge is the perfect good versus evil story. And the fact that they fought so much over the WWE Championship, it was amazing. Honestly, you could have said for as many years as possible that John Cena and Edge alone carried Monday Night Raw. All right, now we're not done talking about extreme matches because now we're going to talk about John Cena versus Rob Van Dam at ECW's One Night Stand 2006. And yeah, you guys already know the iconic sign. If Cena wins, we riot. You guys already know about that. I believe Cena talked about that match, and he was like, he just wants to see how much they hated him. So him and Rob fought through in the crowd to see if, like, okay, so they won't hit me. But honestly, there was no greater sign of being in enemy territory than that entire show. And just John Cena walking through that crowd with the WWE Championship, that was a true one versus all. And RVD was leading the charge. I don't think there is a better crowd than ECW. Like around that time. Like in 2006, 2005, like I really did love I love loud crowds in wrestling. It's my thing. I get a fix off of it. I genuinely hate the quietness in some matches. So ECW from start to finish is that I couldn't experience it myself. D versus John Cena, I can only wish to be a part of that crowd. As they were in the Hammerstein Ballroom a lot. But Rob Van Dam, he showed a lot. He showed out a lot. There's not too much I can say about RVD versus John Cena at One Night Stand already being in highlights. Because one, it's in highlights. Two, I think we all just remember that finish where John Cena lost. via the Frog Splash. And not only did we just see and WWE, this was, before we had belt collectors and stuff. The out here with the WWE title and the ECW title was pretty badass. And it kind of just it made great for ECW. Like, I was excited to watch ECW because now I kept thinking, wait, so does that mean ECW owns the WWE Championship now? Do WWE guys have to go to ECW to try and get it? Like, so many questions off of RVD winning. But next, Money in the Bank 2011. You guys know it. You guys love it. CM Punk versus John Cena. Dave Meltzer. It's a match before Talk for Glory, so who knows what the star rating would have been. This match, it did the thing. It did the thing that made me believe either side could win. It sold me the dream, which has always been my thing as a kid. Like, I love wrestling that makes me believe either side could win. I thought Punk could win and then go elsewhere. I thought Cena could win and go on about his day. I liked this match. I really did. I liked this match. I liked their feud after this. This feud made CM Punk. I know a lot of people say the Jeff feud did. The Jeff feud made CM Punk on SmackDown. On Raw, it was the Cena feud. My only issue, and it's small, is that not too long after, after Cena gets fired and then gets rehired, he beats Rey Mysterio for the WWE Championship 2 hours later, and he wins, and then Punk comes back and all that stuff. Yeah. But Punk and Cena in this match, in Money in the Bank, I wish that there was no shenanigans from Vince and John Laurinaitis, because it was really one of those times where it wasn't ridiculous, but it was okay for Punk to kick out of the Attitude Adjustment and get out of the STF and fight for his life. He's hitting GTSs and he's hitting Anaconda devices and he's hitting those things, and it's not looking ridiculous Cena spamming top rope, regular, through the announce table, and Punk would still be kicking out. This was okay. I loved every minute of this match, and I love the feud that comes after this. Was it the same thing as what they did in 2025 right now? No. I think it's better to look back and instead of hoping for the same thing in today. Next. And one moment, because we are coming close. Next is at SummerSlam 2016. The franchise, the face, John Cena versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. This is part 2 of their, I believe it's best of 5, best of 6. I can't tell you enough how great this match is. If Talk for Glory had started in 2016, this match, I kid you not, would have been the first ever 5-star. This match, hands down, would have been the first ever Talk for Glory 5-star match. AJ was phenomenal. Cena was great. The match was clean. And it's Cena tried to throw everything, and he found out why they call AJ phenomenal. And AJ, when he finally hits a phenomenal forearm, you feel the shift. The game has changed. It's a new era on SmackDown. This win is the thing that solidifies AJ as the face that runs the place. Because then he goes on to win the WWE Championship. And I get this is one of those times where like Cena was becoming part-time, but John Cena and AJ Styles SummerSlam 2016 is again one of those matches where I just go, damn it. I wish I was there. But shoulda, coulda, woulda does nothing. And that's okay. That's okay. So I got two things before we get to the final match. But before all that, you guys already know around this time, that means you do the most important thing when it comes to Talk for Glory, and that is to follow the socials that go up in the screen in 3, 2. All right, guys, you guys are in to follow those socials. So before we hit the final match, I want to do a little fantasy booking. So you guys already know dream matches. We have them, we make them. Who would you guys like to see John Cena face? Whoops, wrong question. Throughout this retirement tour, let's say anything and everything is possible. Everything's on the table. If John Cena had one last match of his choice, and it could be from anyone, from WWE, from TNA, from AEW, from New Japan Pro Wrestling, who would you have had John Cena's dream opponent be? Me personally, I think it's only fitting as we do the face versus the ace. I would have loved to see in a perfect world prime Hiroshi Tanahashi versus prime John Cena. And there's only two places to do it. You can either do it in the Tokyo Dome or Madison Square Garden. That's it. That is my dream match. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus John Cena in the Tokyo Dome or Madison Square Garden. Can't happen anymore, but who knows? Maybe it happens on a video game. So, one more time, I ask the question. Who would you have had John Cena's fantasy dream opponent be? But as you guys are going to answer that question, let's get into real life. Who should have John Cena's last opponent been or be? Okay, yeah. So guys, comment whether you guys are here live, because I see there's 3 people, or share this with your friends and maybe you guys have a conversation about this. But who should have been John Cena's final opponent? I think John Cena's last opponent should have been Braun Breaker. With Braun Breaker spearing the hell out of Seth Rollins, technically putting him on the shelf, then pinning CM Punk. Imagine then pinning John Cena. Oh, God. We would be looking at 2026 as the year of Braun Breaker. Putting a world champion on the shelf, pinning the current world champion, and then pinning the guy of WWE on his way out. Yeah, I think Braun Breaker would have been the best choice. But that's who I think should have done it. Or if John Cena was still Intercontinental Champion and Sheamus did not get injured, I would have loved to see John Cena versus Sheamus for the final time. And just like John Cena is the reason for Sheamus' first WWE Championship, John Cena would also become the reason for Sheamus to finally become Grand Slam. But guys, that was dream match and who I think should have been John Cena's final opponent. Now we go to what some people call John Cena's biggest match. And when I say biggest match, I don't mean in the competitive sense. I mean well, not just in the competitive sense, but in the competitive sense, in the media sense, in the what's the match that everyone was talking about. And you guys know it. It has memes. You guys hear a song and you immediately think of this feud. WrestleMania 20 match. This feud, huge, as it covered Times Square. You couldn't go and buy yourself a sandwich without someone saying or Rock. You couldn't hear classic or Rock. Whenever I hear Invincible, or I immediately think of Cena versus every in this match was going to be replicated in 29, but in when I tell you, Kid cheering for, or Kid me was cheering because the idea of like Rock being better than him, and Rock only wrestles like 3 times a year or something, or he wrestles once a year. But I've got to admit that finish where Cena hits an AA, Rock kicks out, and then Cena tries to do thief and hits the people's elbow, and the Rock just getting up 1, 2, 3. That is perfect. That was a perfect ending. A perfect ending to honestly one of Cena's most popular matches. And there's so much I can say about that, but I can say about John Cena. He is the team. He's all, and there will never be another one like him. So, enjoy your retirement. Enjoy life. Again, this was Smoove's idea, so this was a great video. This is Time for Glory's goodbye to, but more importantly than goodbye, it is thank you, John Cena. Thank you for the memories, the matches. Thank you for the moments. I really do hope that this generation gets their John Cena. And I don't care what anyone says. No, get it in Cody Rhodes. Get it in Roman. You guys needed at someone that starts exactly like how Cena did, where you guys watch them grow into this from nobody to this zero to hero. I really do hope the next generation gets their John Cena. But for now, we retire with ours. That got a little more emotional than it had to be. But guys, that was everything. That was a look back at John Cena's career. Again, thank you, Smoove, for the ideas video. You know what this means? You guys might get one for Tanahashi. But guys, that was episode 259. You guys may know 260 might be tomorrow, or it might be sometime throughout this week. It's the holidays. Let's bring some Christmas cheer. Let's bring some Talk for Glory. Let's bring some Talk for Glory cheer. Normally around this time, Talk for Glory takes a huge hiatus, but I think it's important. Yeah, I think it's going to be important that Talk for Glory gives you all the content we can for the remainder of the year. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys appreciated John Cena as much as everyone else did. I hope you guys will miss John Cena as much as myself and many others will. But as always, guys, I hope you guys stay safe. Have a great day and or night. Thank you, John Cena. And enjoy.